I've avoided doing a video about ISBN numbers for a long time because they're complicated, they're confusing, and honestly just a little bit boring. But this is a topic that gives so many new authors a lot of anxiety, and I've gotten so many comments over the years asking me about them. So I decided, okay, let's finally address it. I'm going to share what they are, if you need them, how to get them, and the differences between paid and free ISBN numbers. The good news is, once you have a quick breakdown of what ISBNs are, how they work, I think you'll find that they're really not that complicated and you'll feel much more comfortable moving forward. An ISBN stands for your International Standard Book Number. So it's an identification number, and I like to think of it as your book's very unique fingerprint. If you were to flip over a book in any bookstore, you're going to see the ISBN number right next to the barcode right here. Whether it's a paperback or a hardcover, you're going to see that ISBN number right there. And just so you know, the barcode and the ISBN are two very separate things. We'll touch on the barcode a little bit more at the end, but just know that you do not have to worry about that as the author. The ISBN, on the other hand, you do have to make some decisions on. I'd say the first question that I get a lot is, do all books need to have an ISBN number? And technically, some of you are going to argue with me in the comments with this, but technically no. If you were, say, selling at a conference or selling direct from your website only, those are two instances where technically you don't have to have one. They're mainly used for online sales, or more specifically, technically online searches, like say by booksellers or librarians to find your book. And so since most of us as self-published authors are online, selling our books through typically online retailers, 99.9% of the time you will need an ISBN number. The second thing you need to know is that you'll likely need more than one ISBN for a book. This is a good example right here. This is the same book. There's a paperback edition and there's a hardcover edition. These will have different ISBN numbers on the back. I like to think of it as like your hand, like this is all your hand, this is all your book, but each individual finger is going to have a different fingerprint. I know this is kind of cheesy, but that's what helps me remember that even though technically ebook, paperback, and hardcover are all the same book, they all need a different ISBN number. And just to complicate things further, there are exceptions to this rule. For example, if you publish your ebook through KDP, which is a company owned by Amazon, you actually don't need an ISBN number at all because Amazon uses their own identification number called an ASIN. Again, this is specifically for ebooks. You will still need an ISBN for paperbacks and hardcovers. But when it comes to ebooks through KDP, you don't. And I believe this is also true of Google Play, which also has their own identification number. Our third or maybe fourth complication at this point, I've kind of lost track, is that every country is probably a little bit different when it comes to ISBN numbers. So my experience is from the US, since I live in the United States, but I have heard that Canada actually provides free ISBNs to all authors, which is really cool. So while I will share with you as much as I possibly can, I think you probably still want to do some research if you live outside the US to make sure that this is all actually the same where you live. The good news is, though, that things have been changing a lot over the last few years. So while in the past you kind of had to buy an ISBN number sometimes in certain cases, now on almost every single print-on-demand company that I can think of, you can get a free ISBN number. So that leads authors to question, like, what do I do then? Do I still need to purchase ISBN numbers or can I use the free ones? And honestly, some authors have very strong opinions on this. I'm going to try to give you a balanced picture and let you decide. I tried to write this down so that I wouldn't miss anything because I think there are 4 things that you need to know when deciding if you're going to do a free ISBN number or a paid ISBN number. The first and most important thing you should know is that a free ISBN only works on the company that provides it. So you cannot take a free ISBN from, say, Kindle Direct Publishing and use it over on Ingram Spark. That is unacceptable. That's a big no-no. And vice versa. But this really isn't an issue because, like we talked about, every single company these days seems to offer their own free ISBN. So if I couldn't use the one from Kindle Direct Publishing, I would just get the free ISBN offered by Ingram Spark and solve that problem. Of course, that leads to the concern that there might be a duplicate of your book. And that's a valid concern because in some cases, yes. So let's kind of paint a picture. Let's say for your ebook, you upload to KDP, Draft to Digital, and Google Play. The good news there is that there's no duplicate because KDP has an ASIN number. Google Play has their own, I think it's like a GG key or something like that. And then that leaves Draft to Digital, who provides a free ISBN number, and you just have the one for ebook, just like you would if you had purchased paid ISBNs anyway. Then let's say for your paperback, you decided to publish through KDP and Ingram Spark. So if you get a free ISBN number from these companies, technically, yes, you would have two different ISBN numbers for the same book. You would have one free ISBN number from KDP and one free ISBN number from Ingram Spark. However, once again, this really doesn't bother me for a couple reasons. The first one being that readers don't even use ISBN numbers, so they're not even going to realize that this is happening. 99% of the time, the only person who's going to know is you. And then secondly, when an ISBN number is needed to look up your book, typically this is going to be like a librarian or more likely a bookseller, and they're going to ask you to provide that number, right? Because they're not going to just know it out of thin air. So then you as the author can choose which one of those ISBN numbers you want to provide to them and just give them the one. And that leads nicely to our next concern. Some authors are worried that maybe librarians and booksellers can't use these free ISBNs. They can if it's the Ingram Spark ISBN. My books are in multiple libraries, and I've also worked with multiple booksellers like Barnes & Noble to sell my books and given them the Ingram Spark ISBN number to look it up, and they've always been able to do so. Over the last, I want to say 2-ish years now, I have been using the free ISBNs without any issue. My books are in libraries. I've had booksellers buy them for book signings, like at Barnes & Noble, and not had any issue with that. On the flip side, if your books were using a paid ISBN number, but they were only on Amazon's KDP, a bookseller or librarian would not be buying them there anyway, because I've been told by both librarians and booksellers that they do not purchase books from Amazon. The last reason some authors might avoid using the free ISBN and still purchase ISBNs would be a very legitimate reason, which is that sometimes when you use a free ISBN, it will list that company, typically with Amazon, as your publisher instead of you and the imprint or company that you wanted to list as the publisher. Let me give you a real life example. If you go on Amazon and you look up some of my books, a lot of them, most of them will say Grace House Press, which is my imprint, aka my company that I set up to be my publisher. And there are just a few cases where I noticed that it will say published by Amazon or independently published or something like that instead. Early on in my career, this kind of bothered me, and so that was one of the reasons that I did decide to go purchase ISBN numbers. But over time, I've really found that readers don't care about that. In fact, they usually don't even look at that. They typically will look at reviews. That's what matters, is what other readers are saying. And on top of that, I have found that it's really more dependent on the company that you're publishing with. For example, I believe I used a paid ISBN on KDP to upload to Amazon, and they still listed it as published by Amazon, versus I recently published this beautiful hardcover right here using a free ISBN through Ingram Spark, and yet when you go on Amazon, it still says that Grace House Press is the publisher. So I think it's because it was coming through Ingram Spark, they are listing the imprint that you asked them to, versus when you upload through KDP, they like to claim that it was their book if they give you a free ISBN. I don't know, but it does seem like it's more dependent on who you're publishing with versus if the ISBN is free or paid. Hopefully that helps you make a more informed decision. So when you get to that point in your uploading process, you'll see a spot to upload an ISBN number. And if you haven't purchased any, you could just click the button that says, I would like a free ISBN number, and you can move on from there. However, if you want to purchase, in the US at least, you would go to a website called Bowker, and that is where you would both purchase your ISBNs. Typically, you're going to need more than one, so you would probably get at least 10. And then you would also use this website to register a book. Once you use the ISBN, you would say, hey, that ISBN belongs to this book now, and register it there. And last but not least, I promise to talk about that barcode as well, because if you do go to Bowker, just to poke around even, you'll notice that they also sell barcodes. But what I want you to know is that this is not for authors. This is not our realm to worry about. Barcodes are on the retailer side of things. So I have never in my 8 years of publishing ever purchased a barcode, and I would encourage you not to either, because it would be a waste of money. Hopefully that was a clear and helpful breakdown of ISBN numbers. And if you do still have any questions, definitely comment them below. I'll do my best to try to help you. But I really hope this video was helpful. Give it a thumbs up if it was. And as always, subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you around for future videos. I love to share content like this and my author journey as well. So I hope to see you in the future. Bye!